how do you make fish and chip soup? It's pretty simple, guys. Like, I shouldn't need to show you. You start with the simplest of ingredients and the most important, fish and chips. This is, for example, last night's dinner. We enjoyed ourselves, made sure we get a couple extra chips. You know, you don't just pig out and eat everything. You eat your fill and you're done, you know. A couple of bits of chicken maybe, some flake, or you know, some calamari rings. I don't know what that is. Fish and chip soup. Basically just fish and chips. So let's get started, eh? Let's have a look, see what we have. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Some crumbles are nice. Got the chicken. We added our crumbles. Put the chicken to the side. We'll do the easy things first, and the things that would take the longest to cook. I can't believe we only have one calamari ring. Okay, so what we want is pretty much everything to mush up, except for a couple chippies, so you still get the feel of that you're eating fish and chips. All this will disintegrate, so don't worry too much. Calamari ring. As we only have one, we'll try and cut it up into as many small bits as possible. You don't need all that really. All the big chunky bits, just take it off. And what we'll do is we'll cook this for a few hours. We'll cook this for about half an hour, an hour. The longer you cook it, the better it'll be. If you can let it sit for a little bit towards the end, even better. Some chippies, don't have to do much to them because they won't be there anymore. They will pretty much add to the thickness. Then we'll leave some towards the end. And this is just fish. Some more fish. A little bit. Now for the fun part. We want to keep some of that. It's not actually the skin and fat, it's some skin, doesn't matter. That way we can also see what we're doing. Please make sure you pick the bones out 100%. The only reason why I'm destroying it is just to make sure there are no bones. Otherwise you could pretty much leave most of it together. Fish and chip soup is fish and chips with a little bit of leftovers, whatever you've got. I'm about to hose down my bird because he keeps banging on the cage. You can see me playing with food and he's hungry. Yep, I'm going to put you in here, Jojo. Yeah. Chicken. Same thing. So, look, that's pretty much that, I think. Another. Put that in there. And then we'll clean this up on the sideline. And now we'll take this over to the stove. See you there. We just turn this on and get a cooking. Just a low heat's fine. We don't want it boiling the whole time, we want it to cook for can't forget those peas and corn. Yes, peas and corn you can get from the fish and chip shop, so they go in. A little bit of salt, some pepper, even some Vegeta. What else could we stick in there? Chicken stock. Let's give it a try. Sure, we'll put some of this in too, not much though. Otherwise it'll taste like a packet soup and I don't want that. It's a fish and chip soup. Salt, lots of salt on the big hole. Pepper. Just a pinch, just because it goes in everything. Vegeta, whatever you want to call it. And some oregano, just a little bit more. A little bit of onion, salt. Now we can put in our peas and corn. Some now. And just like those other chips, we will put a couple in towards the end. Now we just let this sit and simmer for at least half an hour, because we want the flavours to come out of everything. And try to fill it up with all the water that you will need from the beginning. You don't want to add in water later. You know, it's just gonna lovely. Now we wait, we'll come back. So 15 minutes into it, it's slowly getting there. I did just put in a little bit of water since we just started still, pretty much. As I said, you want to try and have all of your water in from the beginning. You don't want to add in extra water afterwards, because that water wouldn't have absorbed the flavour within it. you know. And just like fish and chips, I suppose. And put a couple of drops of lemon on your fish, yeah. And I did find some mixed herbs, so just for the fun of it, we'll put them in because they're probably getting pretty old by now. And I like to try and stick in a little bit of everything. Well, not everything. It's starting to break up quite nicely. Little stir. We'll let it rest a little bit more. I managed to find some egg noodles. We'll stick some of those in. They're almost a must in my books. If you don't have them, you can use very thin pasta, so long as you do break it up. But for now, that'll do. We'll let that rest for another, maybe even 20 minutes, and we'll come back to it and start adding in the rest of the things. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's another what was it, 10 minutes? I'll try turning this down a little bit. It's starting to smell lovely. See how it's naturally thickening up. Like really, I didn't need to add in any of those extra flavors because it tastes great just on its own. But I feel like I like to feel like I'm eating more than just, you know, last night's dinner. So we'll just leave it like that for another 20 minutes. It's always another 20 minutes, isn't it? I don't know. We'll leave it like that for at least a half an hour. I'll probably come and check on it, stir it every couple of minutes. You don't need to see that. So we'll see what it looks like in about half an hour's time. Okay, so we're actually about 45 minutes into it, and as you can see, pretty much everything apart from the peas and corn and the oil and some of the herbs, it's all sunk to the bottom and there ain't much left of much. That's almost how I like it. keep stirring it, make sure all that oil gets mixed in with everything, all the herbs get back down there, and all that flavour mixed in nicely. Try to keep it all down there and mix. Now do not go sticking it in a blender, it's not the point. You still sort of want that whole fish and chip feel behind it. You know, mush it up. That's fine. The more you mush it, the more flavour you'll get into that water. But do not blend it. Unless you need to. But even then you don't need to. We'll let it cook a little bit longer before we put in our egg noodles and maybe a few more bits of peas and corn. Actually, we might just put in the extra peas and corn now. Because we do want them to cook properly. Make sure it's spread out evenly. So you're going to get some in every spoonful. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, now we let that cook for another, I don't know, we just put that in, that. Again, at least another 15 minutes. Don't want to walk away from it too long. Okay, just a quickie. I don't even know how long it's been, so I'm not even going to bother. I found some bacon pieces, real bacon pieces. Oh my god! Smell that. I've got to stick some of that in. It's a little bit dirty. Get that out. I don't know why. I'm probably ruining it right now. Just a couple. Just a couple. Yep. Probably made no difference to that. I found a little Strasbourg in the fridge. This might sound a little bit odd, but you got to remember this is a fish and chip soup, and pretty much everything you get for your fish and chips should go in here, meaning your dim sims, your crab sticks, your scallops, your prawns, your everything that you get in fish and chips, you stick it in. So that's sort of what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick in some of that to make up for my missing dim sims and stuff, and look, a little bit more bacon chips too. Whoa, that was a big piece. We're going to need to put some of that in. We'll just put the whole lot in, shall we? I didn't bring my chopping board. I don't again really need to chop it into small pieces, because the dim sum, you just slice it up or chop it into bits, whatever, and just throw it in. Same with everything else, just chop it all up and stick it in. But if it's covered in batter, you don't want everything covered in batter. So you take off some of the batter. Potato cakes, you stick them in. Everything. Normally I'll do a bigger pot, but for this video it sort of wouldn't really fit within frame nicely, so you know, there we go. Probably should chop them up a little bit smaller, I think. They're not going to break up, are they? They're not a dim sum. Let's see if I can cheat a little. I don't know, maybe they will break up. I think, you know what? I think they'll just break up on their own. I think they're already falling apart. Yeah, they'll be fine. I'm not sure about the flavour of the Straz going with the, but we'll see. Mix it in. We've got a lot of chicken and flake in there. Now, with a normal fish and chip soup, you wouldn't see this in there. Just a bit dim sum, for example. So it'd actually blend in better than this is. I just threw it in the fridge and I thought, well, there isn't much left. Might not get eaten, so I'll stick it in. We'll just let that sit for a while. And as soon as that starts breaking up, we'll stick in the pasta and let it cook for another 15 minutes after the pasta's in, or the noodles, egg noodles, and we're done. So that'll be, what, hour and a half-ish, 2 hours? Wow, this one's taking long. Anyway, we'll let that sit for a little bit. Okay, we're at about the hour and a half now, and it's almost dinner time. Crowd's getting restless and hungry, so I'm gonna have to speed this up a little bit. Actually, I think this is pretty much good. I think it's just the Strasbourg that's tricking me. It's almost got the smell I want, and the colour and consistency I like. Again, this could be done in like, I don't know, 15 minutes, but I like to let it sit. I don't like to add in too many artificial flavours. I could have sped this up with chicken booster flavours and yeah, alright. So anyway, with the pasta, if you're going to use pasta, and I'll do this first since I'm doing it. You don't just want to stick in the pasta, it's meant to be a soup. So break it up into little bits. Alright? Now, as I don't really want pasta, I'm going to try and put this back. We'll grab some more of these chippies, since as you can see everything's pretty much sunk and there is no sign of any chips. Give it another beating, push it up a little bit more. And I'll get these egg noodles that are covered in syrup for some reason. And we will crush them in. It's a soup. Now I'm going to stick in 5 of these little rolls, and again I should have used a larger pot. And now we let it sit for another 15 minutes. And it should be ready. I kind of feel like I should take out that Strasbourg. The colour's just not right. I don't like the colour. You know what, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky and take it out. Forget it, we'll leave it in. And just let that sit for a little bit. So what are we at now? An hour and 50. I've started playing games. This is looking lovely. And I think it's almost ready to dish up. Turn her off and let her cool down. So now we'll let this sit for another another 10-15 minutes and we can dish it up.
What are you cooking anyway?
Okay, so where are we? 2 hours in. It's still very hot. Look at how thick that is. Try and grab it from the bottom. Spread out evenly so everyone gets the same. This will give it a chance to cool down a bit quicker as well, because this does still look a bit too hot to eat. sitting up there for more another night, or people are still hungry. Now, one more ingredient I did just think about. You could add it in. Ooh, that was way too much. Too much. Too much. That was probably perfect. That was perfect-ish. And yeah. Maybe fix this one up a little bit because I'm pretty sure I put too much in. Maybe. Yeah, I think so. And there you have it, my fish and chips soup. So what do you think of dinner, Meow?
Good.
Yeah, it's a fish and chip soup. What?
Delicious. Fish and chip soup, delicious.
What do you think of dinner?
Delicious.
Hmm.